Good evening, everybody. My name is EGC Fury, and welcome to Division B quarterfinals matchup between Lurk Patrol and Better Than Yesterday. You may remember Better Than Yesterday from a couple of weeks ago. I casted them coming off a standout performance. Definitely a large part of that due to Murad, their team captain, just really showing up to the game. And here with me today is someone you might recognize from yesterday's quarterfinals, Division C, Jay Show, the amazing frontline player for Misfit Island. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm JShow574. I play the front line from Misfit Island, the team of free agents that did pretty well this season. So, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know the excuse me, the story of Misfit Island, basically NGS, Nexus Gaming Series, had just a list of free agents that didn't have a team, and they came together to form their own team, and Jay Show definitely showed up to their performance yesterday when they took 2-0, moving on to the semifinals in Division C, and that was in large part to his ability to really time the engagements and come in and enable his team to perform well. And that brings us to here, having him on as a special guest caster, and right into game number 1 on the Sky Temple, where we've already got the first set of bans out. It's Dahaka and Falstad, taking away the two globals that are most impactful on this map. What do you think of that, Jisha?
Yep, exactly what I was about to say. Dahaka, it's his strongest map, so it makes sense to ban him away, especially if you know your opponent plays him, and if you don't want him yourself. And then Falstad just taking away another global. That leaves about 3 other globals available for the taking, and well, one of them's Abathur, and another's Cigar. Actually, it's kind of 4 if you include Illidan with the Hunt. And then if you put in Brightwing, that requires a teammate to teleport to.
Absolutely, and Falstad definitely one of the heroes that your team knows very, very well. You guys played it to magnificent impact yesterday. Cold Damn just doing a, well, as his name implies, a damn good job on that Falstad in both games yesterday. Out-soaking an Abathur in game 1, which is rare, and already, I mean, we're seeing kind of the impact of seeing that kind of play in this particular series, and a ban on Falstad, and then following up that with an Anubarak ban. As a tank player, what do you feel about the prioritization so high on Anubarak this early in the draft?
Well, it's not a Nubrak ban; it's a Nubrak pick. First
pick. Sorry.
You're fine. I mean, that's kind of what our team does. I'm usually the first pick in our team, so prioritizing frontline is always a nice thing, and Cocoon's just such a nice ultimate. Going into Better Than Yesterday's first 2 picks of Rhaegar and Greymane, 2 great clear camp picks that can clear away any camps that you're wanting, and good temple control. And then, if you want to take those 2 picks.
Yeah, Zul and Li Ming. Zul just really has an ability to rotate between lanes and being so impactful in the early game, gaining that really early XP lead, draining some of the ammo, and getting some free tower damage as well early in the game. And that really becomes really heavily impactful when you get onto those temple phases where ultimately late game you're having just a little bit more damage dealt with those tower shots, just because they're prioritizing other targets other than the initial ones. So, and then Li Ming, again, just a really, really high impact hero on those temples. Those are free open areas where she's able to get those combos out, get a ton of damage out, and really just delete targets from the server. And
once she gets her reset, she gets going.
Absolutely, it's scary to play against, and Greymane and Rhaegar are 2 heroes that are susceptible to that kind of play. You know, that armor doesn't really impact Li Ming's playstyle, and Ancestral's only good if it happens before the combo. So,
and it also takes away the Cocoon counter of Disintegrate to pick up the Li Ming.
Exactly, that is almost a ban more than a pick, just because that Disintegrate can tear through that Cocoon so quickly that it's such a hard counter. And I mean, I personally love playing Li Ming into a counter on Anubarak, and you know, being able to take not only the Cocoon away, but taking out his Dampen Magic really early with those arcane missiles. And so,
Yeah.
You know, definitely almost as much of a pick, almost as much of a ban as it is a pick.
Now, if you're wanting another pick that I think would be good for Better Than Yesterday pickup would be a Tacitor to start bringing that Cocoon, and when enable the Greymane, be a good damage source. He did receive some nerfs, so I don't know if he's so highly prioritized. I mean, we don't see him in these first 5 picks. And of the 2 bans, taking away a healer from Lurk Patrol is kind of trying to restrict the healer pool that's available. And then Arthas is a good solid frontliner, something that Better Than Yesterday has not picked up yet.
Absolutely, and Arthas having been banned out, that was definitely a very solid pickup against Azul, even against a Li Ming. Li Ming's really, really good at evading, but once her teleport's down, I mean, she's susceptible to those roots, so I think that was more of a pick, or sorry, a ban, rather, that is going to allow for Lurk Patrol to pick up something a little bit more heavy engaged, to something that can be up front and as much of a target as a Nubrak here later in the draft.
So a Tyrael and a Kel'Thas. So a Kel'Thas is another great mage. So they have their physical damage in Greymane and their magic damage in Kel'Thas. And then Tyrael allowing Greymane to dive with Sanctification if they pick that, or to delete someone going in with Justification.
Absolutely, I like the Tyrael pick. It enables Greymane so hard, and Greymane's one of those heroes that really benefits from two different styles of play. One being just really heavy poke damage, and then being able to engage really hard as well, taking some of that damage away from Tyrael because he's not the most survivable tank. But at the same point though, Tyrael enables him so much of that movement speed with Sanctification as well later in the game. Post 10, it's really hard to play against, and with KT softening up everybody in the backline before Greymane dives in, before Tyrael's able to get those engagements, you're definitely looking at a comp that's designed to blow somebody up, and I'm really looking forward.
Interesting to see if he goes for Curse Bullet, or if he actually goes for Growth of the Throat to just finish off targets.
I wouldn't be surprised to see go for the throat if we were to see a squishy backline, but honestly, with that Chen pickup, I like the Chen.
Yeah.
It has had some controversy with it, with this so-called bug coming out. But
the bug and the kind of a nerf that was kind of uncalled for in a lot of people's eyes that came up. Kind of a good counter to what Better Than Yesterday's picked up, because they've only picked up one form of CC that can stop his drinking so far, and Kel'Thas's Gravity Lapse. So it'll be interesting to see if Better Than Yesterday picks up another form of CC, or if they go with something that's more in their play style. Karazim can solo heal if he picks up the mana talent and the cooldown reduction. It's easier, but he can also solo heal as a damage, so it'll be interesting to see that.
Absolutely. I would love to see something... yes, just so everybody knows, the very, very initial quest at level 1, Chen's Regen Globe quest, is banned due to the bug. It allows it to stack a lot higher, just so everybody knows. That is, however, still allowed, as the Chen has been picked up. It is still available. Now this is something I wanted to see. Lucio.
He got his health buffed, and it'll be interesting to see if that makes a big difference. Also, again, helps out the Greymane with the speed boost. I'm actually thinking we're seeing a Bloodlust comp with the speed boost.
Oh, I hope so. I've been praying for one for so long. But we'll find out as we get into Sky Temple, so stick with us. We'll be right back after the loading screen, boss. And welcome back in onto Sky Temple Lurk Patrol versus Better Than Yesterday in the first game of this best of 3 series, quarterfinals. The semifinal spot on the line. This is definitely something that both teams really want to get off to a solid start. And let's start off with Lurk Patrol. Here we have Ace playing the Li Ming, B-stepping like victory here. Nathan playing the Anubarak, Darabo playing the Chen, Radic on the Karazim, and Gunny playing the Zul.
And on the red team is Better Than Yesterday, and we have Shan Sheep on the Rhaegar, Arik on Lucio, Adin on Kel'Thas, Zombie Chris on the Tyrael, and Maraud on Greymane.
And both teams posturing up to be able to take this top watchtower. I think the early game advantage really has to go to better than yesterday. That Zool is going to get them so much value on Lurk Patrol's side here pretty early game. So it takes some quick rotating to really limit.
Lurk Patrol is the one with the Zool?
Yes, Lurk Patrol has Zool. And then...
You're saying that if you want the early XP advantage, so that goes to them.
Yes, definitely. But they definitely have to out-rotate overall. And that's going to be a little bit difficult with how fast a lot of these players on the side of better than yesterday can rotate. They have they have heroes that really excel in that kind of playstyle. You know, namely in Lucio, Eric. That's definitely a very rotate-heavy player, and you know, only enabled by Gruul. Or wow, Gruul. Okay, Greymane.
Yep. So we're seeing Rhaegar solo lane, and you can do that with a double support comp with the Lucio. And then seeing out the first talents, we got Iron Fist out of Karazim, so going for a more damage build out for the solo support build. Nothing else really out of the ordinary, except for Zool went for the Shackler, which got buffed a little while ago as the fight breaks out.
I like that. Both these teams understanding the limitations of Zool and prioritizing a lot on the talents here pretty early, but that is going to be a Karazim pickup onto Tyrael, so a very, very early kill going in favor of the Zool comp. I like this. That was definitely a very solid rotation and a lot of ability to exercise the amount of CC that Lurk Patrol has pretty early on.
Yep, Karazim can put out a surprising amount of damage even at level 1.
Absolutely.
With that talent.
I'd love to see that Karazim be able to dish out a ton of damage in this game and allow for his team to kind of dictate the pace just by getting picks, and already a pretty early experience lead because of it.
Yep. They're already a talent up. Karazim picking up Earth Ally that cut down on Greymane's damage and even Rhaegar's damage. Better than yesterday, are now picking up 4 while they're now just a level down. Pretty typical, I would say. Kael'thas not going for Convection, instead going for the mana globes in order to get the shield.
Yeah, that is going to be complemented by Gravity Lapse, so wanting to stay in the fights as long as possible. Darabo in a bunch of trouble with the top lane. He's going to be able to drink to live, and that's not something that you would normally hear in the real-life world.
Uh-oh, Adan is in a bad position, and he's going to be dead.
Oh, great collapse on the bottom sieges and great invade by Lurk Patrol. Knowing when to invade is just half the battle when you've got a Karazim on your team. So, a lot of damage being dealt early by Ace. That's a pretty insane follow-up being enabled by Nathan on the Anubarak, and that's really just, it complements how long this team has had to be able to play together and really gets to be able to dictate the pace pretty early in the game, and that's a full level lead for Lurk Patrol.
And now a talent advantage again. Li Ming going for the Seekers, so they're going for a single target damage build with the Li Ming.
Yeah, their comp definitely revolves around that single target blow up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once Zool gets the root down, that target's going to be staying there, and we'll have to see if Rhaegar picks up Cleanse. If you should, it's a standard pickup. So that will help prevent that, but Shin going for Boulder Flavor instead of Brewmaster Balance.
I like this.
Evade some of the upfront damage with reaction time.
I like this. Looking at the draft, they knew, Lurk Patrol that is, knew that they had to dictate pace. They knew they had to out-rotate better than yesterday. They knew they had to get picks early, and so they're picking talents around that playstyle and trying to get 10s as quickly as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if 10s are to be picked up as soon as the bottom tempo was, I'd say maybe about halfway through. I'd like to see a lot more prioritization on getting some of these towers down in the bottom lane by Lurk Patrol, trying to get some of that more advantage push. But we're going to see instead Bruisers picked up for both teams. Chen's up in the top lane.
Maybe? Nope.
Gonna in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to be able to get out.
So, Lurk Patrol putting a lot of map pressure, keeping Chin in the top lane. With the talent, with the level lead now, it might be possible to do a 4v5 on the spot temple and make map pressure. Never mind, Chin's coming down, letting the Bruisers fight each other.
Yeah, this is a fight that Better Than Yesterday needs to take before Chen arrives, but it's going to be a little bit too late as Surshan Sheep rotates up off the temple, and this is going to be a full 5-on-5 engage. Darbo getting a lot of damage down and a lot of poking, and Zombie Chris caught in a little bit of a bad position, is going to have to back away, but that body block and the root by Zool is going to be a lot, and barely going to be able to dash out of there with his Q, and ultimately, I think that trade really has to go in favor of Better Than Yesterday just because of the positioning, so aggressive. By Lurk Patrol, it's really punishing, and Darabo in a lot of trouble going down. Gonna get knocked away, and
gonna die?
I don't think so.
Maybe. Oh, Serial diving in.
Zombie Chris getting super aggressive, but ultimately not gonna net anything. But that is gonna be a kill onto Chen. A little bit too much damage to deal with there, and not enough brew.
Exactly what Better Than Yesterday needed to try and get XP back in this.
Yeah, they could combo off of this by another kill onto either Nathan or Gunny, but I don't think that Lurk Patrol is really going to allow for this.
But two supports allowing to take poke damage away from Better Than Yesterday, and as they get the temple.
Yeah, Gunny again caught in a bad position up in the mid lane, and it's going to be a good stun. Gravity lapse going down, and that's a lot of damage done on the Gunny, and a huge collapse, and that's going to be a kill.
10's picked up for Lurk Patrol now, and soon going to be following.
And Darbo going in, Ace, a huge Arcane Orb, and that's going to be another kill onto...
Li Ming. Adan's down, another reset for Li Ming.
There's way too much damage to be able to deal with. Ace on a roll here.
So we see Curse Bullet picked up for Greymane, kind of going for a typical poke out build and then dive on a person.
Maybe an aggressive siege is taken here.
Ancestral healing.
That's such a shame. Could have been.
So yeah, Steven Wave of Force against a nice, mostly dive comp, so that will give her some room to work with. Skeletal Mages, even after the nerf being taken up.
Now, Sound Barrier was taken by Lucio. I like this mostly because of the amount of survivability on the side of Better Than Yesterday. Really allows for the burst potential of Li Ming and Zool to be limited. However, I think they really could have...
Shin's ultimate being interrupted as everyone's diving in. Sanctification popped. We got Phoenix going down. Idun having the back out of the battle. Shield popped.
A big collapse back on the Gunny as well. Mage is coming out, and that's just a huge cocoon as well, and not anybody in position to follow up.
Oh, Zool dead. Shin popping his ultimate to do something.
KT's just wreaking havoc here. That with Panda Pals, that's one of the drawbacks of having Panda Pals on Darabo. That's just it's a lot of fire spread targets, and Living Bomb just getting so much value in that fight, and Gunny really being the one to pay the price for it.
Yeah, with 4 people that are really good at diving and having a KT, it kind of alleviates some of the pressure off KT because the rest of the 4 are being focused by the team on KT to just blow up people.
Absolutely, and just so much value really early on in that fight. All of the ultimates on the side of Lurk Patrol were popped pretty early, and no value really gained from them. And so, ultimately, in the later portions of that fight, they just had a huge turnaround under fort. Just a really bad decision to fight under towers and under fort.
Curse Bolt used on Shin, and he's going to get away because he's Shin.
It's a short cooldown, though, so he'll definitely be back in the fight here really shortly. And it's a 4v5 up in the mid lane as we have Rhaegar split in the bottom. Surshan Sheep.
Shin trying to put pressure on the team. It's a 4v5. Cocoon used. Sanctification going to be used now? Nope. Just going to be a dead Lucio. And now a dead Tyrael as well.
Yeah, Sanctification not quite up during that engagement. Tyrael going down right as it came up off a cooldown, and that's going to be a 2-for-0 trade. Both Lucio and Tyrael going down, and that's a full temple in the mid lane. But Rhaegar did get a full temple in the bot lane as well, so almost an easy trade.
Glass Cannon Li Ming. Going for the increased spell power but less health against a dive comp.
Yeah, they definitely need the blow up.
Karazim going for a spell shield at level 13. That's not usually seen. Not Donkey Kong. Chen is going for a Donkey Kong build with the barrels.
I like the spell shield though by Karazim, knowing that Greymane and KT are both a threat. You need to have some sort of a way to mitigate that initial burst damage that can be so threatening, and it does limit the amount of burst damage that comes out of that living bomb chain. So definitely a solid choice.
Indeed does. Have you seen any Divine Palms going off well, though?
I haven't
Let's
seen
see if
any
they're
Divine
getting-
Palms yet.
I see that value, if that gets value in this game or not.
It could be a determining factor of how this game really plays out. It's fairly even on structures, a slight structural advantage on Lurk Patrol, but that really, I think, comes down to the fact that Rhaegar was able to sneak an entire bottom temple there pretty early, twice, in fact.
Yep. As boss was taken for Lurk Patrol, not really getting much value except for distracting the other 5 members of Better Than Yesterday to deal with it. Shen getting free push in the top lane, and you got 5-man collapse on 4 coming down in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is definitely an engagement that Better Than Yesterday needs to take pre-16. 16's like really close for Lurk Patrol, so they need to be able to take this engagement and gain value off of it before anything else happens. But ultimately, it's just going to be a 5-man clearing of the sieges, and that's it.
It's interesting, as Tyrael taking Burning Rage instead of Angelic Absorption, as most Tyraels do at level 13, knowing that he has double support to help him out. As he engages trying to get a fort, 2 ultimates popped in order to try and save him, as he gets out now. But Lucio now in a bad spot, and it's like everyone's going to get away.
Yeah, this is now a 5-on-5, and Lurk Patrol is out for the hunt, and nothing really coming of it. Just that's the power of Lucio, being able to speed everybody up, get everybody away, and I think that really just kind of comes down to how they wanted to draft this comp. They wanted Lucio to be able to provide those quick rotations to deal with the Zol counter.
Yep, but again, we have 2 ultimates versus just the one that was popped for that team fight. So ultimate advantage going to Lurk Patrol as this fight gets underway for the temple.
And this is 16 advantage for Lurk Patrol, so this is something that they need to be wary of on the side of Better Than Yesterday. But it is a 5-on-4 for now. Zul's on his way up. Gunny now joining the fight. Now 5-on-5. 16 advantage, and Zombie Chris caught in a bad spot.
Yep. Better Than Yesterday trying to back out, but I don't know if they can.
A great gravity lapse.
Oh, everyone just caught out. Between Kael'thas and Rhaegar. Adan just going to die. And nothing you can really do at that moment. Ancestral was not popped. And Karazim trying is going to go down the Greymane. Nope, Greymane instead falling for the bait.
That was a pretty good play by Radek. That was a really proper position just to understand.
He took a risk. He popped Divine Palm in order to do that, but it got the kill. So that's all that matters sometimes.
Yep. Hey, Divine Palm value. You wanted it, we got it. Yeah, I think I really attribute that last team fight going in favor of Lurk Patrol based upon the fact that both Sound Barrier and Sanctification, 2 really massive cooldowns that Better Than Yesterday really needs to be able to excel in these fights, were down. So ultimately,
and they also were down to 16 advantage. So they were as soon as they saw him coming in, they were trying to get out, and they, with the Chin being able to come in and interrupt things, just could not.
Yeah, just not quite enough information to really take that fight confidently, and this is going to be an aggressive Lurk Patrol siege camp take again. This is the 3rd one in this particular game.
I don't think Lurk Patrol has let them have that siege camp ever in this game.
Absolutely, and Zombie Crew's taking a ton of damage, has to pop Sanctification to get out, but that is going to be a turnaround onto Gunny on Zul, and the 16's Evan picked up.
Cocoon popped. Chin just unkillable. Dan going to get out after the Cocoon. Anubrak staying in maybe a little bit too long, and is caught out and should die.
Yep, Nathan taking just way too much damage. The body blocks are just way too much to deal with, and this is the turnaround that Better Than Yesterday needs. They have a 3v5 right now, and they want more. Health pools are definitely high enough. And this is going to be a full-on engaged. Erebos going to take a ton of damage and go down, but Eric's taking a ton of damage as well from those arcane missiles, and that's going to be a 3 for 0.
So yeah, interesting choice by the Greymane going for Executioner, going off the slows that the totem provides in the Sons of KT, but not picking up the percentage-based damage against a double frontline comp.
I like it though. Their comp is designed, Better Than Yesterday's comp is designed to be able to survive in a fight a little bit longer than Lurk Patrol's. The only problem is that they've been getting blown up. So if they're able to blow up a little bit further, create a little
glass
bit of...
cannon doing a lot of damage.
Absolutely, and they just want to be able to pressure Ace not getting a lot of value.
Wave 100 Fist coming out for Kerosene, which is pretty common with Iron Fist. You get a lot of damage out of that for single target. We even have Vulnerability on the Root by Zool for even more single target blow up.
Yeah, but that top fort is going to go down to this massive minion wave pushing in the top lane. 2 temples have spawned, both mid and top, and the boss is available, as well as both bruiser camps. So just a ton of value to be gained all around the map, and this could be a collapse onto the Vision.
Shield pop, Phoenix pops. Trying for a team fight, but it just ain't there.
Yeah, both teams wasting a ton of ultimates to ultimately go nowhere, and both teams posturing around that mid temple as well.
Interesting that Chen went for enough to share instead of usual. Dana taking a lot of damage from Li Ming. Another team fight trying to come out. Radical build opposition. A lot of damage going on Chen, not where you really wanted to go. Sanctification just now running out.
That was a lot of value on Sanctification, a lot of cooldowns wasted on the side of Lurk Patrol. Both teams still kind of just posturing. Not a whole lot has been done at this point, but Gunny's taking a ton of damage, has to pop his trait.
Back in, Rhaegar really low.
Palm value.
Getting a divine palm on him, and Rhaegar gets blown up. Nubrak getting a 3-man stun. I don't know if they can keep fighting this. Shin probably gonna get Kel'Thas with the help of Li Ming. This is just need to back out of the fight now, because just don't even try for Chin.
Murad was able to execute Gunny as well and ultimately turn it around, and this is now a 3-on-3 here. Radic, not quite enough mana or health to really be able to execute in these fights. However, Eric's going to get blown up, just going a little too aggressive.
Lucio not being able to get the shield down, the smite used for the speed to try and get away. Ace on low mana trying to do something. And Kirazim again with the wave 100 fists, just doing a lot of damage.
There's the power of Karazim, just able to really follow up and engage on those low targets, and this is going to net Lurk Patrol not only a top or a mid tower, but also a top tower as well. And this is a huge wave pushing the bot, so they have to have Li Ming come back and respond to this. Ace on the cleanup duty, but I mean, this is a ton of value.
2 keeps. Surprised it's better than yesterday, not going for their. They might actually try and rotate to their siege camp to actually get that for once in this game.
I'd love to see them try to sneak a boss. They have at least enough to be able to do it, and they have enough time on the temple, but I don't think they're ballsy enough for it. Bottom's their win condition, but now Lurk Patrol's responding.
Interesting. Chin going for the upgraded ultimate for his 20. Nothing else really out of the ordinary, I would say, for 20s.
And here comes a response by Nathan coming down to the bot lane to try to help contest this boss. That, you know, members of Better Than Yesterday were spotted there, so they know that it's a possibility, but with a massive wave as well as catapults pushing the top lane where a keep is already down, they need to respond to it. Boss is not really an option. I'd love to see Lurk Patrol take it right now while they have the chance.
Lurk Patrol positioning for a pick on a team fight. Tyka's positioning aggressively, getting in the back line. He'll be almost blown up, but a good cleanse sent. Shield popped. Ult's going everywhere.
Great zoning being able to be done by the side of Better Than Yesterday is going to allow them to fight underneath the keep, but the keep's really low, so this is not a fight they want to be able to take. And everybody's going to tap, try to get rested up a little bit, and ultimately I'm looking for a whole re-engage here. Zombie Chris going in, and Holy Ground doing a lot of work as well, being able to split Ace from the rest of the team, but this is going to be a full disengage, and I think this is a boss call.
We'll see. 3 ultimates still up for Better Than Yesterday, 4 up for Lurk Patrol, so they have the ultimate advantage if they were keeping track themselves.
Yeah, one Siege Giant trying to do work on that bottom keep, and it's not going to get much. It's going to get maybe a wave done, but both teams posturing right around the boss again. Just poking it out. Ace scouting, and ultimately going to see that the boss has not been started, but Zombie Chris been spotted. And he's going to have to disengage. This is not a fight that he's in a position to take. 20's just been picked up, but it's still a level disadvantage, so some of them stats are still padded a little bit harder for Lurk Patrol. That's a huge collapse on a Nathan, and a Divine Palm to be able to save him.
But Nathan gonna still Get away! No, it looks like he'll be down to the Tychus, but that separates Tychus from the team, leaving them with no front line. Shield having to be popped at the right time, just got it back. Zool getting caught out. Sheep almost cares and going in deep, trying to get his damage in.
Radic, I think, is just trying to peel here. He's just trying to make better than yesterday, disengage, but that's catapults on the core. This is core damage, permanent core damage going down 50% already on the core, and this has to be a full back at this point. It absolutely has to, and I don't think that they have enough time to fully clear this out. Radic's going for the core. He wants to be able to end this game.
I don't think he can do it at that health against 2 targets.
Hey, I can hope. But this is going to be core, though. We have shots going down, and this is just too much. This is going to be first game going over to Lurk Patrol. That was a great play, being able to stall out on that boss by Lurk Patrol, and ultimately forcing catapults to win the game for them, as well as that bottom temple.
The power of distraction.
Absolutely, misdirection. Well, definitely a very solid showing early in this series by Lurk Patrol. So stay with us as we get ready for game number 2. We'll be right back.
Tychus. Shield.
Great zoning, being able to be done. And welcome back in this best of three series, Division B quarterfinals between Lurk Patrol and Better Than Yesterday. Map number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Definitely a very strong map for the type of play we saw last match, where just a huge prioritization on how team fights were to be conducted. Both teams showing their strengths, but ultimately Lurk Patrol coming out on top. Again, with me here, we have Jay Show co-casting with me. What do you think of that last match?
I definitely believe it did come down to the team fights, and the double frontline team definitely had a lot more survivability in the upfront compared to the sustain that the double support team had for Better Than Yesterday. And it ended up coming on top because they were better able to interrupt the Kael'thas, which was a lot of the damage for Better Than Yesterday, and left the Greymane kind of high out to dry in the middle of their team.
Absolutely. That KT got a ton of value off of those bomb explosions going off pretty early in the game, but I think about post 14 is really where Lurk Patrol started to adapt to that playstyle and just really punish it, and they were to get a lot of damage down onto KT pretty fast. So I like to see that kind of adjustment being able to be made mid game.
So New Brack Band, the global is not a prioritization on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is a smaller map. So we're seeing some more high kit heroes coming out. And the New Brack is certainly one of them, as they were facing against it, deciding that they don't want to play against it again or pick it up themselves.
Yeah, Nathan definitely did a good job last match on that Anubarak, just really utilizing his kit to disrupt and ultimately dismember the members of Better Than Yesterday. So I like that. It's almost more of a respect ban than a kit ban. Now, on
Yep.
this other side, though, we have an Oriole ban who just recently went through some rework. What do you think?
It's certainly an interesting ban. She certainly would work well on this map in a four-man rotation that's commonly seen on Tomb of the Spider Queen, going from mid to top. We as a team, as Mr. Island, haven't played with her changes. We played with her old self, and I mean that was pretty good for a competitive setting, especially with the teammates that we had. But we don't know about this new Ariel. We're still kind of curious about it. So unfortunately, we won't get to see it today.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but already a KT pick. It's a very strong hero in terms of rotations because it's such a small map, and his cooldowns are low enough that you're able to rotate and clear lanes really quickly. I like that they're prioritizing it so heavily. I think that ultimately there are other choices that are a little better, but I like that they were so heavily invested in the Kael'thas because of how well it was played last game.
I wonder why that skin is banned. Could I get some information on that? Is the
Yeah, so that skin is banned in tournament setting because some of the animations that are changed because of that skin are harder to see and detect, so they're harder to play against.
interesting. I never realized that was a problem. I could see it though.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit harder to play against. There's a couple of skins that are like that. For instance, the Muradin, I believe it's called the Marauder skin. His Stormbolt is much harder to see and be able to play against and dodge, so it's ultimately banned as well. But an Uther Gul'dan pickup on the side of Lurk Patrol, what do you think?
Gul'dan is kind of a counter that KT's clear because he can clear just as well and provide a lot of team fight damage. Uther, a strong pickup, even though he saw some changes. Got higher healing numbers, but lost the armor, at least 10 armor, so he only gets 15 armor to his teammates. So it's not so much on a solo carrying style as having a Vala would have there be. So Gul'dan providing the damage and Uther just a strong healer and seeing the Divine Shield. It might be a double support coming out of Lurk Patrol instead of solo support, but we'll see.
Well, with the new Brack off the table, they definitely would need to have a front line that's strong enough to support that double support comp. What comes to mind is an Arthas, or maybe even a Stitches. Definitely two very strong heroes in that respect that are able to take those solos. And we're ultimately going to be seeing Lurk Patrol play against Garrosh and Rhaegar, who are really good at displacement and lockdown with not only the flip, but the pull from Garrosh, and then also the slows from Rhaegar. And at 16, getting the Earthbind Totem, it's just devastating when you've got follow-up like KT in the backline.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see what build Garrosh goes for. I've been playing around with Garrosh as I'm the frontline player for my team. I enjoy him. Um, Apparently, the community does not enjoy playing against him. I don't quite understand that outcry, but we'll see. The Auric ban waving, which would be interesting because it kind of counters out the Garrosh, so it's interesting banning it out.
I think that's ultimately because Lurk is such a good solo laner and such a great anchor in the bottom lane that they want to be able to limit the amount of strong counters to who their solo lane is going to be. This really hints, I think, to a Sonya pick in the bot lane, perhaps even going for that Chen once more. That is definitely a very strong possibility. They are really good solo laners, and it's hard to beat either of them when you're just 1v1 in that bot lane. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a higher prioritization on allowing for those bottom anchor players to gain a lot of value pretty early game.
Yep, and seeing that they don't have a Lurk player of their own for banning it out. So
yeah, I like this. I like this display, and that I think is probably the most expected counterban at this point. Is going to be that Malthael, taking a lot of that percentage-based damage out of the play, and Garrosh really susceptible to that percentage-based damage because his armor doesn't actually aid as well in that particular style of damage dealing. So I'd look for probably another frontliner on the side of Better Than Yesterday to help Garrosh be a little bit more survivable, especially if they're going with a solo support Rhaegar. So I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, with things like Greymane on the table, what they're really going to pull out of their pocket, you know?
Yep. So let's see. What would you say are these next two picks? Going in, most likely a frontliner.
Yeah, I'm thinking a frontliner. Probably going to be something like a Stitches or a Leoric. Or not Leoric, but an Arthas, who are really good at stopping Garrosh's pursuit.
I think it would be a Murden. You get to jump out of Garrosh's throw. A Johanna.
Or that.
Negate it entirely.
Yep, that trait definitely going to get her out of a lot of bad situations, so I like this pick. I think Johanna's a little undervalued.
Yep, and taking away the Greymane from Better Than Yesterday that they played in the last game, so obviously they saw value in the pick themselves, and they don't want Better Than Yesterday to have it, leaving their stronger soul laner to be either Greymane or who they pick up last in order to counter out what Better Than Yesterday picks up.
I would love to see Better Than Yesterday pick up like a Thrall, something with some more lockdown, something with a decent amount of damage, and then something that can follow up with a huge CC like Sunder or even Earthquake in the later game.
Yeah, Thrall would be nice. Taking up the Sonya themselves and then Lunara for some nice dot damage.
We do see the Lunara and then the Sonya, as I had anticipated earlier. So very, very solid picks. And I like Sonya in the bottom lane because with Malthael and Lurk both off the table, she's able to really push in that bottom lane and get a lot of value. I think the only real counter push that would be almost viable here would be that Chen. Because he does survive against Sonya pretty well, or even Zagara, who can push her out of lane pretty well as well, but she doesn't gain as much value in the team fight, so they would have to get a lot of prioritization on those rotations going. But it's going to be the Malfurion.
Okay, a double support, trying to support up the Greymane. A Divine Shield Greymane is a pretty scary thing to deal with, but the Greymane's most likely going to be the soul laner, or it could even be Malfurion solo laning against the Sonya.
I can't wait. I'd love to see a Boomkin Malfurion. I love the little broccoli running around and doing a bunch of damage. But we'll see what's in store for us as we come back on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We'll be right back. And welcome back into Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 2 between Lurk Patrol and Better Than Yesterday. Both teams definitely given that respect pretty early in this matchup here with the B-Steps as well as the Good Luck Have Funs. And in the blue trunks we have Ace playing Uther, so a little bit of a sidestep from that Li Ming carry that he had played so well last game. Gunny on the Gul'dan, Radic playing Malfurion, Nathan always on those tanks on Johanna, and then Daribo playing the Greymane.
I don't know, better than yesterday on the red side. We have Eric on the Kel'Thas, Dan on the. Actually, I don't see. Okay, we have a substitute. Instead of Aldan, we have Master Fish on the Garrosh. We have Zombie Chris on the Sonya, Ashur Shan Sheep on the Rhaegar, and Murad, their captain, on the Lunara.
Yeah, Aiden was just a sub for the first game. Sorry for not addressing that. So Masterfish, their normal 5th, is currently in game and has rejoined.
Ace being brought out, but with the armor being able to negate damage, is able to get out safely. But a nice team fight coming out. Zombie Chris trying to bring damage onto the Greymane.
That's great team play coming out of Lurk Patrol, understanding that Ace was in a bad spot and collapsing and doing a ton of damage, just punishing the misplacement of a lot of the members of Better Than Yesterday, and that was a huge, huge opportunity that Better Than Yesterday had ultimately, and ultimately now here we have another one. Masterfish getting turned on heavily, but Ace able to heal himself up barely, and Masterfish able to run away. That armor doing work.
I would see a Greymane Sonya, so lanes. Greymane kind of has some advantage being a range, but doesn't have any stun that brings Sonya out of her spin.
Yeah, I think this this matchup personally, I think really goes to Zombie Chris if he's able to stay in the lanes, but he's not really doing so, and that's going to be resulting in a kill onto Sonya pretty early. So that lane already being lost by Zombie Chris.
See mages rotating to try and clear ways, so the other three fight it out. And free push on the bot lane.
I like this rotation that they have set up with Gunny and Radic. They have so much lane clear with Gunny and Radic in the rotation that they really need to just keep it up in the early game, and ultimately it's going to result in a lot of, I guess, the best way to put this is going to be free XP in the late. Ultimately, I would say they're probably going to be winning the game XP wise, but as I say that, Eric going down in the mid lane, KT just getting blown up by Daribo.
Yep.
That was just way too much to deal with, I think.
Yep. Greymane moving up for the gank and got it.
I like this though, Zombie Chris understanding that Daribo was out of lane, so he's able to get some free tower damage as well as secure a little bit of extra soak for his team. But Daribo quick on the rotation is back down on the bottom lane. Zombie Chris just wiggling around waiting for his opportunity to strike. And this is it.
Greymane's damage is a little bit too much to deal with just spinning.
Yeah, Zombie Chris needs to be able to fight under minions and spin to be able to get those healing talents to really work. You know, that the War Paint doing some work, but not enough at this pretty early portion of the game. And that's going to be another level lead early in this one as well for Lurk Patrol.
Sonya picking up Hurricane to alleviate herself of Malfurion roots, and any slows that Gul'dan picks up for his corruption.
A good flip by Masterfish as well is going to have Radic placed in harm's way, but he's going to be able to root everybody in place, ultimately getting him out of harm's way. Masterfish doing a really good job of putting everybody in a good position to capitalize, but so far just not being able to really do so this pretty early portion of the game.
The Malfurion is paying off. Instead of being on the Garrosh's team of rooting people that are flipped, he's being able to root people that are trying to body block and being able to save his teammates.
Absolutely, it's a ton of value as well, as Moonburn's already at 63 stacks, and that's pretty good for this early in the game, but that's a lot of blow up going down onto Ace on the Uther. A little bit of latency on my end as I seem to be reconnecting into the game.
Murad also left the game.
There we go, back into the game, but we have a little bit of a server-side issue as we've got a couple of players who have disconnected, Murad being one of them. Myself, I'm back in the game, but we have this pause lasting for a few seconds.
And he seems he's back. Maybe? Oh, he's talking about you.
Yep, just talking about me.
Okay.
Alright, and it looks like everybody's ready, so we're going to go ahead and resume the game. Alright, both teams posturing up, getting ready for level 7 to be hit, and Masterfist doing a really good job of scouting, allowing for Murad to get a free turn in here, and 32 to 10, and that's going to result in a really early blue web weaver going over, pre-7 in fact. I like this this aggression coming out of Lurk Patrol. They understand that they're up 1-0 in the series. They could take it 2-0 and really make a strong case for themselves.
Ace almost going over the wall, but Garrosh not deciding to throw.
He might not have had the cooldown available quite yet, I'm not certain. Or he might just not have been in rage.
It is a long cooldown, so... And the range is a little finicky.
And rightfully so, though. I mean, it does a lot of damage, you know, being able to throw someone over a wall. And that shouldn't happen too often, in my opinion.
Nope.
Murad taking a ton of free damage from Gunny, as well as the Web Weaver, and they're going to knock down this whole top wall. 7s have already been secured, as well as level 8.
Taking it across, but able to get out with the help of armor and his own roots.
A good cleanse by Rhaegar is going to allow Masterfish to pursue, but it's really nothing to worry about on the side of Lurk Patrol, as not really able to capitalize. That being said, though,
I don't know.
Bottom lane.
If that was a... sorry.
I was just gonna say Derbo and Sonya going head to head in the bottom lane, and Zombie Chris getting it worse for wear. Both of them had just a fraction of health left, and not really a fight that either wanted to take. But ultimately, Derbo's gonna come out on top.
I don't know if that was Rhaegar's cleanse or Indomitable taken by Garrosh that gives him unstoppable. Now the roots.
Well, either way, I mean, he was able to get out. I think that's Indomitable popped right there, so a huge root following up as well, and Masterfish is taking a ton of damage, a full collapse by Lurk Patrol. Just a fraction of health left, and a heal for Rhaegar is already down. Sershan Sheep not able to save Masterfish. I love the survivability of Garrosh. He just does so much to heal himself, and it wasn't enough there, but you really got to see how long Lurk Patrol had to chase for it to really be impactful.
Yep, we see the Curse Bullet going up against a Garrosh, another percentage-based damage dealing ultimate. Johanna still hasn't picked up her ultimate, most likely going to see Blessed Shield, but Falling Sword, not a bad option.
I would have loved to see Blessed Shield into Divine Storm into Twilight Dream, but it's not going to happen as we've got Divine Shield picked up by Uther. But still, with Horrify, Twilight Dream, and Blessed Shield, that's a ton of CC on the side of Lurk Patrol. They've got to be scared. Better than yesterday, in a bad position here, as 10's being picked up. 10's are on the deck for better than yesterday, but not before this mid-fort's going to go down, I think.
11's going to be picked up for Lurk Patrol before Better Than Yesterday can get their ultimates picked out, so...
And just a ton of damage done already in the structures, I believe.
Lurk Patrol doing a good job rotating and got the speed lead to get the damage lead.
And a good amount of damage coming out from Eric as he's trying to defend, but it's not going to be enough. This double support comp for Lurk Patrol just doing way too much, and Eric's not really able to get any value off of those flame strikes, and that mid fort going down is going to early is going to cause a rotation. A good cleanse though onto Murad's going to allow him to get away from that Horrify. Definitely a scary spot to be in, and ultimately Nunar is safe for now, but this bottom fort not so much.
You can't push up aggressively for fears of the 10s.
Yep, now 10s are about to be picked up though.
Blessed Shield used to catch him out. Ancestral going to work out.
That was just in time. They had picked up 10s a fraction of a second earlier, and Masterfish is able to live because of it. That was a clutch play by Sir Sean Sheep.
Yep, it certainly was.
And both teams just repositioning here around the altars. Trying to play goalie is Lurk Patrol, as they don't have enough gems to turn in, but Better Than Yesterday does, and they're looking to get a return turn in here and try to get some of this, not only structural advantage back, but some of this XP advantage as well.
Divine Shield is not popped yet, so that's still available for Lurk Patrol, but it's your only ultimate. Nope, Curse Bullet just came back online. So Warlord's Challenge taken by Garrosh instead of Decimate. So he's going for a kind of a controlling the battlefield kind of build with slows and the healing effects.
I like it.
And yep. And you kind of need the big play to come back in this one. It acts kind of like a mosh pit would. So if you can get the right one and you win the team fight, you're back in the game.
When you compare that, or not compare it, but when you combine it with Wrath of the Berserker picked up by Sonya, and then Phoenix picked up by KT, that is a huge amount of CC and blow-up potential. And I think we're going to see that engagement happen as Ace is flipped and taunted, but a ton of damage returned, and a great Horrify going down is going to have Garrosh be deleted from the server. Masterfish just not survivable quite enough yet.
Nope.
And we got a full retreat on the side of Better Than Yesterday, and that's a good choice, I believe. That's ultimately going to be good for both teams, because we have Webweaver still pushing top and bottom lanes, and it's a ton of structural value gaining back for Better Than Yesterday. But everybody's split. Radic taking a ton of damage, but a good Twilight Dream is going to be able to silence too, but it's not quite enough to secure the kill on Murad or Zombie Chris. A ton of return damage by Gunny, but it's not going to be quite enough. Ancestral doing work in this game.
I was wondering why they were ignoring the Gul'dan, but I didn't realize they went for the Malfurion. As even more damage is put on the Grey main to blow him up, and just picking off one by one to try and get back in the game.
They're comboing these kills and staggering them out so well. This is exactly what Better Than Yesterday needs to be able to get back into the series.
Yep,
down
that's what Garrosh
1-0
allows you to do.
Down 1-0 is horrible to play against, and Nathan being flipped, his trait is not available, and that's going to be another blow-up and 24 gems lost. And this is going to be a full-on guard of the gems. They don't want for Lurk Patrol to be coming back into this anytime soon. So 3 staggered deaths. Just horrible, horrible momentum swing, and both teams now have 13 in talents as well.
Yep.
Earthshield was picked up by Wrecker, so a little bit more survivability. Life Funnel picked up by Sonya, so wanting to be able to spin to win right in the middle of everybody, and that's really impactful with heroes like Uther, Greymane, and Johanna, who are all going to be standing up pretty close to each other. You fight in the middle of a lane with minions around, that Sonya is never going to die with Wrath of the Berserker online. That's just way too much self-healing.
The Earth Shield, even though it's kind of standard, it is also really nice with double front link because it's a percentage-based shield. So getting that in. Uther caught out again as Ace is caught out, and Divine Shield having to be popped to save them.
What a great Divine Shield and counter with the Twilight Dream, but it's not going to be enough, as Uther's going to go down to the unfair advantage, as well as the collapse of Sonya. Ultimately, he's out of the fight now as his ghost form falls. Zombie Chris in the backline doing work on Aderbo is going to ultimately return the favor from earlier as he lost in the lane, but this is going to be a combo onto Johanna as well. Not enough survivability after Uther dies to really be able to contest in these fights. And now we have even talents and a red Webweaver for the side of Better Than Yesterday.
Only Malfurion to defend down mid lane where all the 5 of the red team is at. It's going to be hard for him to do much of anything as he doesn't have that much damage.
I do want to highlight that a lot of quests have been completed for both these teams. Mana Addict completed for Eric, as well as Hammer of the Lightbringer for Ace, and then Radix completed his Moonburn talent, as well as Gul'dan Gunny, that is, completing his Corruption talent. So that's a lot of damage to be able to be done pretty early, but without Cocktail completed as well, it's still kind of lacking that burst potential to be able to blow up a target before Better Than Yesterday is really able to return the favor.
Yep.
Finally, the red Webweavers are going to be cleared up. A lot of gems stored in the bottom lane, and 16 talents being picked up early for Better Than Yesterday, and this is exactly the play they need to make. Boss being taken by Better Than Yesterday, and they understand that Lurk Patrol is distracted by clearing out their waves. This is going to be a free boss and potentially a free keep off the top of it, with 16 still not picked up and online for Lurk Patrol. I think this is going to be a full 5v5 though. It's a little bit early. They need to be able to get 16 talents before they take this engagement.
Johanna trying to pick it up, but not quite enough with that wave mid.
This last wave on the top lane is going to do it, and here they go. They have 16s, they're online, nothing picked quite yet, With talents being selected now, and a lot of damage being able to be done to Masterfish pretty early, the boss is slowly going down, but not before he's doing just a ton of structural damage. The Phoenix is already down. Wrath of Berserker down for another 10 seconds. This is when they need to fight. Masterfish and Zombie Chris both down hard in XP. They need to be able to take these fights now before those heroes come back online. A great Horrify as well as kind of caught Masterfish out, and he's going to get blown up, but not before the Ancestral saves him. A huge Twilight Dream as well, but it's not going to be able to save that blow-up potential as well, and Johanna, being the target of the taunt, is going to be able to pop his trait to be able to get out. Nathan doing great work to zone for his team.
All ultimates have been blown up for that fight.
What a crazy engagement. So much back and forth. My brain hurts. There's nothing left to be able to really save Masterfish, and the health pools and mana bars on Lurk Patrol are better off, and ultimately the Phoenix can be popped to zone out, but I think everybody's going to just walk past this. Not enough damage to really zone, and this is exactly what Lurk Patrol wants to get back into this game. They want to be able to get a turn in, they want to be able to get these fights going, but Better Than Yesterday is going to do a good job of turning around and just clearing out camps, get that pressure going in the lanes, and get full mana bars. And both teams just farming up gems. Only 4 turn-ins total that have happened this particular game. That's pretty crazy for a 16-minute game already.
Only 1 gem needed for Better Than Yesterday to get a full turn in.
And they're going to get it in the bot lane.
Done. Going for the siege camps before Kael'thas tries to turn in.
Only 3 more needed for the side of Lurk Patrol, and they're trying to get it both in the mid and top lanes, and now the goaltending happens. Understanding that this is exactly the situation that Better Than Yesterday wants, and Eric's able to get the turn in 1 extra gem on his part, and that's more lane pressure that Lurk Patrol is going to have to deal with. They need to win a team fight now, pre-20, and clear this out and get a turn in. That's their win condition. What do you think Lurk Patrol's mindset is right now?
Get back in your base and try and defend, but caught out by Garrosh, and that's a dead Uther. The unstoppable by the Flying Leap allows for the silence not to affect Lunara as she puts out more damage, and Malfurion also goes down.
That was an insane combo coming out from Masterfish and Zombie Chris. Not only did Masterfish create a great taunt and throw, but Zombie Chris was able to capitalize on it as well by getting a great spear to lock him down just a little further so that Divine Shield could not come out. And a great combo as well onto both Gul'dan as well as onto Radek on Malfurion, and this could be game. This could be going to map number 3. Better Than Yesterday coming in strong in this particular game, and I think this is going to be a core play.
Yep.
And Healing Totem's going to go down. Darable's going to get caught out.
Just
this is game. This is absolutely game. There's no way this isn't game.
It should be game.
If Ace and Nathan manage to defend this, it's a miracle. And I don't think it's going to happen. This is going to be core. Game number 2, going over to Better Than Yesterday in this best of 3 series. We have a match on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. The GG's going out. This was a great game, a great turnaround. An early game advantage definitely going in favor of Lurk Patrol, but ultimately that was a huge turnaround for Better Than Yesterday, and I'm excited to see what map number 3 brings.
Exactly. Lurk Patrol showing their strength and early game advantages, but this time Better Than Yesterday showing a superiority in team fighting and just getting 1 pick and then snowballing the rest of the team fight off of that.
Absolutely. What do you think we're going to see at a map number 3? We don't know what the map is yet, but what do you think we're going to see totally?
Probably something again to get away, to try and save a person that's picked off. Divine Shield was trying to do some of that, but it wasn't quite enough because it was often Uther having to use it on himself in order to get away from it, and he would just be taunted immediately after being pulled out. So hard to counter against that. Absolutely.
Well, stick with us. We'll be right back here in just a few moments as we get ready for game number 3 Lurk Patrol versus Better Than Yesterday. Stick with us. And welcome back. Game number 3. Infernal Shrines is the map of choice. Lurk Patrol, Better Than Yesterday. 1-1 in this matchup. J-Show, what do you think of that last game?
It was certainly a good one to come back. The comebacks are always really fun to watch and always be fun to be a part of. So it's good to watch that and watch some good Garrosh play.
It was really impactful. Not so much early game, but once they were able to get those ultimates comboing off and that synergy between Zombie Chris and Masterfish was there with the spear following up, it was just too much to deal with for Lurk Patrol. I would expect a Garrosh ban to come out here.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Yep.
Almost immediately, without question, the Garrosh ban don't want anything to do with it. I haven't spent enough time playing against it or with it to know its strengths and weaknesses. So
He's giving some congratulations to the other team for playing a comp they did not like playing against.
I'm gonna read this out for anybody who's having a little bit of difficulty reading this. That was the truly one of the most obnoxious comps to play against. Congratulations, that was painful in every regard. That was pure respect coming out, and we're going to see a Dahaka pickup on the back of it. So a little bit more prioritization on those globals because, well, quite frankly, they had to use the ban for Dahaka.
Yep, Tahaka is a really nice pickup on this map. It gives a lot of clear, and globals can never be understated for how valuable they can be.
Absolutely. Not only that, but his ability to pressure with pressure the lanes with those camps, his jungling ability is just it's really on par with how well this map can be executed. So look for a strong global presence to come out from Lurk Patrol as well. They've played Falstad in the past to great effect, and I would expect it to come out here as well.
A nice counter global. It would be a good thing to pick up, and maybe like an Uther to counter out any tongue targets that the Tahaka picks up. We'll see though.
KT and Sonya, so prioritizing some of that shrine pressure. KT and Sonya doing very, very solid work on the shrines to clear them out quickly.
Also seems to be taking away the Sonya from Better Than Yesterday. As you were mentioning about the last game, it seemed like Lurk Patrol was going to want it, but it was taken away from them from Better Than Yesterday, already picking it up, making sure that they get it if they were truly wanting it.
Absolutely, and I've seen Lurk Patrol play that Sonya a couple of different times on this map, and it's definitely one that they exercise really well. So I'm excited to see that come into effect once again here, but I'm really, really more excited to see Better Than Yesterday responding to these picks. I would love to see a Zul, or maybe even a Malfurion from them. They've exercised those heroes well to great effect as well, and so I mean, this is really a matchup for the ages. This is quarterfinals, and with 1-1 as a scoreline, no one expected this to go to map 3. Both teams doing a really good job of showing their worth in these first two games.
Indeed.
I will fight to my last breath.
So we have a Rhaegar, a beloved hero. Definitely one that they love on the side of Better Than Yesterday.
Have they not played a game without it tonight?
I don't believe so. I think it's been their pick every single time, and it's been great. They had Rhaegar Lucio in the first game, I believe.
Yep.
So
Doing
that was
well on Ancestral most of the time, especially with the Garrosh being able to have the armor so he doesn't die so easily before it goes off, and getting a lot of value out of it.
absolutely. Sershan Sheep is probably one of the best Rhaegar players I've seen in the Nexus Gaming series, and he definitely does a really, really solid job. And we've seen some weird stuff in the NGS. We've seen Genji clones get Ancestrals just because the it was web wrapped, but that was for a different division, I should say. Shout out to Arya. But I like the Diablo pick. This is one of Diablo's best maps. There's a lot of small walls to be able to charge into. That level 13 talent being able to really chunk some of the frontliners, Sonya being in particular, and a little bit of a support choke happening here with the Uther ban as well. So with Ariel still on the table, I would love to see Ariel paired with Sonya on this map. It is so strong with Ariel's rework. She's able to generate so much hope on her own, but also Sonya on those shrines is able to get work done. I would love to see that pick up, particularly on this map.
Yeah, and Diablo also giving them sort of another Garrosh effect that they had last game, being able to pull someone in and push them towards their team.
Look for them to try to exercise collapsing on that style of gameplay, that displacement style of gameplay, even further here.
I mean, if you get a tongue and then you bring him into Diablo to further move him, or have Diablo move him and then tongue to just finish him off.
I once played a game where we had Dahaka, Diablo, and Garrosh, and we had Tongue into Diablo flip with charge back into the towers, and then Garrosh flip, and we displaced from one side of a lane all the way to the other, and threw over wall, and got a kill with the fort.
Man, you just need to put stitches in there for even more displacement than
Right?
Dahaka.
Then you just get them from across the map and have it.
Especially with Fishing Hook. Ascena and Arthas and a Malfurion. Arthas, another AoE clear on the shrines is also good because you have to move in on them on team fights, and once Arthas has got you, it's kind of hard to get away. And Malfurion is just another route on top of Arthas's route. allowing Kael'thas to just blow up a person that goes into that. So it's a good pick potential.
I'm gonna see Convection in this game. I think that's gonna be their niche with KT. With the way they're gonna pour on a bunch of damage, they've got so much CC that they're gonna allow a lot of targets to stand right in the middle of that flame strike. And so I think really here this is gonna be Convection making an appearance here because we've only seen Mana Addict this series so far.
I've only seen Better Than Yesterday picking up the Kael'thas, and they like their Mana Addicts. So Convection would be nice to see. Already seen a value in Dahaka, though, being able to burrow and just take no damage from that. So already showing its value, not just in global aspect, but already in its abilities.
Chromie Vala. What
Well,
world do we live in?
If you're Chromie, you don't have to worry about being rooted so much because you're far away from the battlefield. And then
Vala, I think, is just clear on the shrines.
Does about some clear. I would have preferred maybe a Goldan as a better clear because Vala really excels when she's given support, and I don't know if they're quite the supporting cast for a Vala. But it is a high damage character. If you play it well, it's hard to do anything against.
Definitely very high impact if you play it well. I think that this is going to be a Reign of Vengeance game because they've got so much lockdown with Dahaka and Diablo, as well as potentially Time Loop by Chromie, that we're going to ultimately see Reign of Vengeance. I think that's going to really be super impactful late game.
Malfurion no longer having a cleanse can no longer save a person from Chromie's temporal loop.
Absolutely. And, you know, Dahaka, like you said, being able to burrow out and, you know, get a lot of that ability to disengage as well. Triple Warrior.
Three front line against that team. Tyrael having the spell armor, being able to deep dive Chromie and trying to disrupt there. And Dahaka struggles against heavy front line, so it's a nice way to put it. Tyrael and Sonya can kind of go assassin style, and Kael'thas is just a lot of damage in the first place. So I think it's a good idea. We'll see how it works out.
Absolutely, we'll see how it works out as we head into map number 3. Stick with us, we'll be right back. And we are back. Map number 3, Lurk Patrol, taking an early 1-0 lead in this series, has been bested on Tomb of the Spider Queen, as Better Than Yesterday came back into this fighting for a vengeance. So we find ourselves on Infernal Shrines for the third decider map. And we have Ace playing Tyrael, so getting a little bit of every style of play this particular series. Radic on Malfurion, Gunny playing the Kael'thas, Nathan on the Arthas, and Daribo on Sonya.
Better Than Yesterday, we have Eric on the Vala, Marad, their captain on Chromie, Zombie Chris on the Diablo, Master Fish on Dahaka, and Shirshan Sheep on his favorite Rhaegar, it seems like.
I like it, though. He plays it to great effect, and I liked seeing that comfort pick always being available. Wouldn't be surprised, though, if later in this series we were to see some sort of a respect bam, or later in these finals series, perhaps in the next match.
You were correct to call out Convection. That was a very good call on that. Tyrael going for even in death, hoping to die sometimes and get a lot more damage out.
I can respect it. They're just wanting to kill targets. Tyrael knows he's going to die to that flip that Nathan is currently the subject of. A great route into that Convection, though, is going to grant KT a couple of stacks, and Gunny's already doing some work, but Marad, getting cheeky with that poke damage, is going to miss, but look for him to capitalize later on and ultimately get a lot of value.
So 4-man rotation is going on this map with the solo laner being Dahaka and Sonya. Very common solo laners go on this map.
I like
We're all
that.
going...
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like that they've prioritized how the heroes are clearing the lanes so much. With KT and Malfurion being the focus of clearing lanes on Lurk Patrol, Nathan and Ace are able to save their mana, because Arthas and Tyrael are two mana-hungry heroes. They're able to save their mana to try to complete not only Nathan's quest, which he currently has 1 stack of, but also to try to gain some value when they have those full team engages.
Yep. Murad on the Chromie going for Time Walker's Pursuit, so not going to be falling for any bush parties, we hope.
Now, Masterfish is fighting against Darabo in the top lane. Sonya definitely gets the better of the Haka early game, but we got a great rotation by Murad on Chromie, and that's going to force Darabo to back off. And that's Bronze Talents picked up as a second talent for Murad. That's going to get a lot of value later in the game when that auto attack damage from Chromie becomes really impactful post the combos.
Yep. Dahaka going the B and Z. Favorite move of Dahaka's. And gonna see him come onto the shrine.
A lot of damage done onto Ace already as he's collapsed upon and ultimately has to smite his way out of combat. A great lockdown as well into Zombie Chris as Nathan peels, but Darabo wants more. He wants to get in this middle of this fight and be able to spin to win. And he's going to do so on the top of Masterfish. A couple more convection stacks in in the pocket of Gunny. And ultimately, Lurk Patrol's going to bully out of place, and Nathan's hungry for a kill. Zombie Chris is going to ultimately go down to the hands of Darabo. And I think this is going to be first shrine going over to Lurk Patrol.
Something that Lurk Patrol is not doing is pressuring the Chromie as she's trying to get free damage in, but they're moving around a lot. It's hard to hit them.
That being said, Gunny takes a takes a piercing stance to the face. I love that. Every time I see Chromie hit a sand to the face, I always think of that song, Mr. Sandman, Please Bring Me a Dream. Now look for Diablo to bait this over the towers and get a pretty quick defense. It's an early Punisher, sub 4 minutes, so definitely want to be able to clear this up quickly and not lose too much structurally.
Did not go into hot on Diablo, it went on the Chromie, so a little frightening there for the gnome.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of miscommunication.
Trying to fight the Sonya. Did not get the tongue on her, so it's a little lost fight there.
Yeah, full essence being burned as well is going to cause Darabo to be the lesser of the health pools in the mid lane, but we're going to have a quicker collapse by Zombie Chris and Arik, and that's going to be Darabo caught out, but ultimately a little bit of miscommunication on the positioning is going to allow Darabo to get away, that flip not quite coming into action. Just a little catch up here. We have Gunny at 13 stacks on that convection, so getting pretty close to completing that quest. Look for him to complete it before that next shrine, where he's going to really be able to get a ton of work done early in those team fights. But Murad's wanting to take that privilege away from him.
The Tyrael going for a swift retribution on this smite in order to get people away, as it gives more move speed for a longer duration of time.
I like that pick. I think that's more of a respect for Chromie, wanting his team to be able to move around more and ultimately make it harder for Chromie to be able to hit her targets.
Dahaka almost falling, uses up what essence he had, is going to have to be in order to have any chance, but Vala trying to come in for the gank.
That's a ton of damage done.
Sonya.
Eric's able to pour on that damage, and this is a slight hungering arrow build, puncturing arrow picked up, as well as repeating arrow. So the vault is to be able to refresh hungering, and that's, I think, just to be able to chunk down some of this beefy front line on Lurk Patrol. And that's going to be a collapse onto Zombie Chris as Diablo going down in the mid lane, and a great combination of CC. But it is Diablo. He'll be back pretty quick. Not all his souls, so he's going to have a normal death timer, but it's going to be pretty quick in the respect that it's only 6 minutes into the game.
Yep, and he does not lose his soul progress, which is a nice thing when you're a Diablo.
Yeah, you definitely want to die before you get there. And this is going to be an Arcane Punisher spawning in the bot lane, and this shrine is going to be heavily contested. Both teams at 8 And so I think this is going to come down to just proper positioning. You want to be able to have KT finish the stacks right here. You want to be able to have a proper amount of pressure, and you want to have everybody be able to engage appropriately. So look for Darabo to get a lot of pressure here back in the back line, as well as Nathan back in the back line onto Chromie.
The Haka having to stay back to finish off a camp before being able to engage, so it gives a lot of time for Lurk Patrol to get clear on the shrine.
Yeah, already almost up to 20 is Lurk Patrol. Just a couple on the side of better than yesterday, but the camp is now done. Dahaka's burrowing in. He has to use all his essence pretty early, though, before the engagement, so he's only got one health pool to deal with. Darabo taking a ton of damage from Murad, but Masterfish getting collapsed upon, knowing he doesn't have both health pools. He's backing off. Good amount of damage done to Zombie Chris as well. This three-man front line is just bullying on the point. Both teams about even with the Guardians of the Shrine. But Masterfish taking a ton of damage is going to tongue Nathan in. He's going to have to burrow to escape, but that's going to be a dead Dahaka.
And Murad looking to die as well, but not quite.
Looking to die as well. I love it. Wants to be the sixth man for Lurk Patrol. Give him a little extra XP. We have 19 stacks of Convection for KT. Wanting to finish before the end of this Punisher, but not really in a position to do so yet. Going in now. Really hunting for him. I like the safety, though, on the side of Gunny.
Yep. Dahaka just trying to get them up to 10 to have any even footing in a fight. Again, Lurk Patrol winning the early game. We're gonna have to see it better than yesterday. Can win out a team fight and come back in this one like they did before.
Now they left the bottom well in the bot lane. I think that's a little bit of a misplay. They need to kill it. They need to get out of there because another shrine could be in the bot lane, and that could be the difference of how they take the engagement. Having that well tap available, you know, better than yesterday, can fully disengage and then come back in with full health bars, and that's a horrible thing to do when you've done so much damage. You've burnt all your ults.
Also interesting that they took their siege camp without giving them vision of the mid well, that the siege camp can attack from their camp position. So kind of another misplay. They don't seem to like dealing with wells, Lurk Patrol.
Yeah, not quite into that macro game as of yet, but definitely really good exercising of how they combo their ults together. And Darabo's getting pinched upon. He's in the bushes, so no one's seen him yet, but he's in a bad position. He's going to be able to get away as the rotation goes down to the mid lane. Better than yesterday, trying to get some of this XP soak back as 13s are nearing for Lurk Patrol.
So slowing Sands taken because of the beefy front line, so not so many targets, and Kel'Thas standing behind, so hard to hit him. And Vala just used her 2 charges of her ultimate, trying to get Sonya, but it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was a great combination of ults, but it just ultimately wasn't enough damage. Eric and Masterfish just not quite enough to be able to take down a fully charged up Sonya. But it is going to pull a rotation.
Yep. The Haka going for isolation instead of adaptation, wanting to get some more control over better health bars, and he seems to be surviving somewhat into the fights until it's when he uses the essence early that he's having problems. So hopefully he'll be able to clear that up. A little bush party coming out.
A little bit of miscommunication as well, as Gunny wasn't quite in a position to be able to help capitalize, and a good sanctification as well. Convection stacks haven't picked up, but Gunny's been the target of Chromie this entire game. Good amount of damage as well, and a great Phoenix to zone is going to allow for Darabo and party to back away. But here comes the Twilight Dream from Malfurion, and Darabo in trouble, and he's going to ultimately fall. A great Ancestral onto Zombie Chris. We've got a huge root back down onto Masterfish and Zombie Chris, but ultimately Ace is going to be the one to fall. Look for him to try to take someone down with him, and it looks like it's going to be Masterfish. So a 2 for 1.
That even in death talent coming in handy to kill out Dahaka.
Absolutely. That was a massive play by Tyrael just to make sure that the trade didn't go way too in favor of better than yesterday. This is a frozen Punisher, so it's going to add a lot of lockdown if Better Than Yesterday decides to siege up on this middle fort that's going to be under the attack of the frozen Punisher.
Yeah, 13 picked up for Lurk Patrol as they have the level of lead. Even after kind of losing out on that team fight. As everyone's coming back, Tyrael on his way back, we're going to see a 5-on-5 engagement with Rhaegar not having that much mana, so we're going to see how this goes.
This is definitely the opportunity for Lurk Patrol to come back in.
Indeed. Dahaka just doesn't have Essence, and that's going to be a dead Dahaka. Diablo going to probably lose his stacks here. Yep.
Yeah, Diablo's going to be coming back really quickly, but that's a lot of souls burnt. That's a lot of health gone. So ultimately, Lurk Patrol taking this better for wear.
Better than yesterday. Kind of need to back off some of their members to try and get mana to help them survive the team fight. Mana is also a resource along with their health points, so...
Absolutely, and a good time trap by Murad is going to allow him to escape. That was calculated. Like, that's the only word for it is calculated.
Hey, predicting the future, that's what your character does.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Frozen Punisher going to go over to Lurk Patrol. This is going to be pushing down the mid lane, and that mid fort already pretty bruised up. Whole tower down. They're not going to be able to bait it any further than that, so they're going to definitely lose this fort. Look for them to try to make their defense behind keep walls. Murad, ever the nuisance. Poking in the back line. Radic being able to get a cheeky dodge as well, but Phoenix going down, and the Punisher's going to leap back on top of Master Vision Zombie Chris, and that's going to be Syndra popped.
Doing a Sylvanas effect, shutting down the towers in order for the Punisher to get a lot of value and allowing your team to push up in there.
I love it.
Diablo gonna maybe go down, does go down. And Dahaka almost facing a similar fate.
Yeah, that Punisher, if in case anybody doesn't know it, on a timer it has the ability to jump onto the enemy team's targets, and so ultimately he acts like a sixth man in the team. And right there, that amount of CC as well as the roots from the Frozen Punisher's trait comes into great effect and results in another kill onto Diablo, and he doesn't have souls to be able to come back early this time. So I mean, it's a bit of a win-lose situation.
He also loses time in order to collect souls in order to come back further in this game.
Absolutely. Cheeky camp steal as well. Bruisers picked up by Darabo and company up in the top lane aggressively. But we've got Sieges being picked up in the bot lane by Better Than Yesterday. Look for them to get collapsed upon.
We just got it in time.
That's good and bad. It's not going to really gain any value in the bot or in the mid lane, those bruisers, but it is going to tell Lurk Patrol exactly where Better Than Yesterday is on the map.
So Lurk Patrol has 16 talents compared to level 14 for Better Than Yesterday, so they have a lot of catching up to do. Nothing out of the ordinary for Lurk Patrol.
Minions and the assistance of Ace did finally get that bottom well, because this next shrine could be in the bot, and so that is a definite win point for them, getting that out off of the map, ultimately making it so that whatever engagement Better Than Yesterday takes is the one that they have to take. They don't get a reset button. They don't get to try again. Painting the map blue is Lurk Patrol, as they have 16 talent advantage, as the top shrine is going to be activating in 25 seconds. Perfect timing for these bruisers, but it is the top lane, so they're not going to gain a ton of value. Better Than Yesterday is going to be able to clear those up pretty quickly on the rotate up.
But they get a lot of value just by having to keep down in the mid lane, having catapult pressure all the time.
Absolutely. It's going to get a ton of pressure as well during this entire shrine. I think the best thing for Lurk Patrol at this point is to just draw this fight out, because they have a well in the top lane. Make it so that all of the ults are used on the side of Better Than Yesterday.
16 picked up for Better Than Yesterday. As they get on the same talent tier, they need to pick up a fight in order to come back in this one.
And Masterfish is going to miss a tongue. Ace being the subject of a little bit of harassment by the Zerg. And he's going to ultimately engage that armor loss as well, doing a ton of damage. Chromie's getting a little bit of cheeky damage, and ultimately an Ancestral is going to have to be wreaked onto Eric.
Bala being blown up upon, as just losing this team fight is Better Than Yesterday. Lurk Patrol showing a lot of power in this quarterfinal.
Yeah, Sanctification gained a ton of value. Ace knowing exactly where to throw it to keep Darabo alive, as well as to keep the pressure off of Nathan. Just a huge win on their part, and it's going to force Better Than Yesterday to have to go back and clear catapults in the mid lane. I like this. They're stalling out the top shrine to gain value elsewhere on the map. They want to have every lane pushing to force Better Than Yesterday to make a bad decision. The best thing about this map is forcing the enemy team to make a bad decision, and that's what Lurk Patrol's been able to do this entire game. The mana bars are a little low on Lurk Patrol, so look for them to kind of hit a little bit of a reset button. Dahaka's just coming back up online. APOC and Ancestral down for another 30 seconds. But then again, so are Cinder Ghost and Sanctification. So we have a lot of team fight ability coming in, and that's going to be a collapse in the bot lane as Nathan and Gunny are a little bit caught out. Getting collapsed upon by Surshan Sheep and Masterfish, and good isolation as well into Nathan, but it's not going to result in anything. It's going to be resulting in everybody backing away, but Gunny taking an advanced position is going to get thrown around by Diablo and get blown up. Not what you wanted to happen as an Arcane Punisher's marching toward top keep.
Nope. Losing out on your soul pretty much damage dealer, except for Sonya as a bruiser style, so he was a lot of range to fight into the base.
What do you think Better Than Yesterday needs to do to come back in this?
They need to find a pick off a Dahaka tongue and then try and snowball the rest of the fight, like they did similarly last game, getting the Garrosh picks. But Syndragosa coming in, trying to get the value is shutting down the forts. They're trying to let the Punisher push up more. Sonya in a kind of bad position.
This is the power of Arcane, though. Just a ton of damage on the backline as those Arcane beams are going to work. Masterfish caught out, and he's going to get collapsed upon. Ancestral not quite quick enough. Rain of Vengeance is not quite quick enough either, but Nathan's going to get thrown around as well by Murad.
Yep, Arthas does not have spell armor yet. He has physical armor. See if he picks up a Ballast Magic. If they'll even come into things, says this might be game.
3 versus 4. I don't think that Lurk Patrol quite has it in them to win just yet. If they get a pick, maybe. But
Sonya putting a lot of damage on the core, and it's game.
Wow, just a ton of damage done by the Punisher before it died, as well as Sonya going ham with that Wrath of Berserker. I was not a believer, but they made me one.
Yep.
What an insane series. Lurk Patrol winning it 2-1 over Better Than Yesterday. Lurk Patrol is going to advance into the semifinals of Division B here at the Nexus Gaming Series. J-Show, what do you think of that entire series as a whole?
It was certainly exciting to watch. Better Than Yesterday, just kind of fighting on the back foot a lot of the times. It worked out for them in the second game, kind of working off the game mechanics of comeback, but didn't quite work out in their third game, and it just went over to Lurk Patrol's early game and being able to snowball that advantage. So it'll be interesting to see if Lurk Patrol can keep that going for their next games, and we'll find out.
Absolutely. Again, this was Division B quarterfinals. Lurk Patrol versus Better Than Yesterday. Now, we have a pretty common series in my casting where we pick an MVP. It's usually on the winning team, sometimes not. I gotta be honest, it's not gonna be on the winning team this particular game, and you can contest me on this, J-Show, if you want to, but I gotta give it up for Surshan Sheep. His Ancestrals were on point so often. It allowed for so many comeback possibilities for Better Than Yesterday that it gave him game number 2, and it nearly gave him game number 3 if they were able to snowball just a little bit harder. So, I gotta give MVP to Surshan Sheep. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems like a lot of the roles for Lurk Patrol kind of went around. It's hard to keep up with each individual player at the role they played, but Surshan Sheep was definitely consistent with the Rhaegar, so I think I could agree with you on.
Excellent.
Definitely had Ancestrals going down. I wish I could play Rhaegar like that.
Most definitely. He's probably one of the most skilled Rhaegars in the division, for sure. And his cleanses were on point as well. I don't want to take away from anything that he did. Ancestrals, he missed a couple of them, but that was mostly due to the amount of pressure that they had on them. It just wasn't really quite good timing for them to take certain engagements. But cleanses were on point. Ancestrals were mostly on point. And the value he got off of a lot of those, off of the Lightning Bond talent for one. He did nearly as much siege damage that last game as the rest of his team did.
So yeah, And then Murad also doing a lot of damage for them. Kind of was their saving grace, along with Masterfish being able to pull in the second game. But hopefully they'll be coming back in Season 2, and we'll get to watch them again.
Absolutely will. Again, Lurk Patrol taking it 2-1, over better than yesterday. Going to advance to the semifinals here coming next week. Thank you, Jay Show, for joining me here today.
A pleasure.
Again, my name is EGC Fury. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you in the semifinals. Take care.